Hello guys, welcome back to the RamboNime channel. In this video, I will discuss the Rising of the Shield Hero anime. This video is a continuation of the previous video. So those of you who haven't watched the Rising of the Shield Hero discussion video before, you can watch the video first. As usual, what I will discuss in this video is to add information that is lacking in the Rising of the Shield Hero anime, of course with the light novel source. In this video, I will cover episode 8 and episode 9. Before we start, I want to remind you again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you can be notified when this channel updates the latest videos. In this scene, when Naofumi is camping and resting, the scene in the anime and the novel is a bit different. I will discuss the camping and resting scene based on the novel. So earlier, Naofumi and the others heard a rumor that in another region, to be precise in the north, there was a famine, so on their way now, Naofumi and the others went to the southwest to gather a lot of food to sell later, and they ended up rest. Here Naofumi starts to think about replacing the wooden carriage with a metal carriage. Because when Philo pulls the carriage, the speed is really fast, and it often makes the train wobbly and uncomfortable. That's why Naofumi wants to change his carriage to metal, so it won't get damaged easily. As usual, when going to bed, Raphtalia and Philo always made a fuss, and asked Naofumi to sleep with them, and Naofumi always refused. In the anime, here Naofumi is making accessories for Raphtalia and Philo, while in the novel, Naofumi is concocting medicine, and it turns out that Philo wakes up and chats with Naofumi. Philo asks what Naofumi thought when choosing Philo's eggs at the slave shop. Naofumi didn't answer, because Naofumi chose it carelessly when taking the egg, and he himself didn't expect it to be a filial queen. Philo here was worried that Naofumi would leave Philo. Philo also knew that the price Naofumi paid for Philo's eggs was very cheap. Philo knew it when she was being locked up in the slave shop. Philo also told everything to Naofumi. So when she was locked up in the slave shop, that was when Philo knew it all. That he came from an egg that was sold for cheap. This angered Philo, and she destroyed the cage that was holding her up. Philo was worried that Naofumi would throw Philo away when Philo is useless. Since Philo's eggs were very cheap, of course Naofumi could buy new ones. In the end, Naofumi promised that he would not throw away Philo as long as Philo was a good child. Even if Philo's leg was broken and Philo was no longer useful, Naofumi would still take care of Philo and won't throw away Philo. Naofumi was determined in his heart, when the world is at peace, Naofumi will make a place for Raphtalia and Philo so that they can live happily without having to fight again. In this scene, when Naofumi has arrived at the village in the east, after seeing many new graves, judging by the number of people who died, it means that the epidemic that occurred was truly extraordinary. Naofumi is unsure if the medicine he uses can heal the villagers, because Naofumi can only mix medicine to an intermediate level. Naofumi also thinks about improving his medicine concocting ability, so that the products he sells are of higher quality. In this scene, in the anime, Naofumi treats residents one by one, meaning one bottle for one resident, but in the novel, Naofumi doesn't heal one resident in one bottle. So Naofumi's shield has the ability to extend the range of efficiency of the medicine in a small distance. That is, when Naofumi treats residents by taking medicine, then people who have the same disease, within 1 meter of Naofumi, all recover. So in the novel, Naofumi gathers sick residents within 1 meter, and in the end, the residents recover. With this, Naofumi can save on the manufacture of the medicine, because with just one bottle of medicine, Naofumi can already heal many people. In this scene, while Naofumi is on his way, they are confronted by many monsters. In the novel, Naofumi and the others fought against monsters. After defeating enough monsters, it turns out that more and more monsters are coming. Naofumi also orders Raphtalia and Philo to get on the train, and in the end the monsters are trampled to death by the train. After defeating the monsters, Naofumi gets a new shield, but from everything Naofumi gets, Naofumi is attracted to one shield. This shield had a different pattern than the one he got from those masters. Its name is B-Needle Shield version 2. So if the shield is used, then Naofumi gets attack +1. The shield also has a special effect, namely the needle shield in a small form, and Naofumi can also secrete bee venom. In this scene, the novel explains, there are a lot of poison play monsters. Naofumi tells Philo to face the poison play monsters, while Naofumi and Raphtalia will dismember the dragon carcass. Naofumi plans to put the dragon carcass into his shield, because if buried rottenness it will continue through air or water. In this scene, when Naofumi and the others were fighting against the dragon zombie, it was precisely when the dragon gave off poisonous gas. Naofumi wasn't damaged because he had poison resistance, while Philo was probably holding her breath, so she didn't get poisoned. And as for Raphtalia, she was hit by poison damage, because this Raphtalia has weak lungs, so she can easily get hit by poison gas. In the next scene, Naofumi wears his anger shield. The shield's name is the first version of the Shield of Rage. So if the Shield of Rage is used, Naofumi can issue a Change Shield skill to attack his opponent and can also cast an Iron Maiden skill. The shield also has special effects, namely self-immolation curses, assassin shields, and soulborn shields. In the novel, Naofumi wants to try his Iron Maiden skill, but unfortunately the skill is not active, because there are requirements. And in the novel it is also explained. Naofumi realizes that in order to strengthen the Shield of Rage, Naofumi must fall into hatred. For the sake of defeating the dragon, Naofumi continues to fall into hatred. So Naofumi deliberately thought of all the things he hates, so that his Shield of Rage gets stronger, but when Naofumi keeps trying to increase his hatred, suddenly there is Raphtalia's voice. And in the end Naofumi didn't get swallowed up by the hatred that he wanted to infuse. Because Raphtalia saved Naofumi, Raphtalia ended up being hit by the cursed fire of Naofumi's shield. And finally Naofumi regretted it, because of himself, Raphtalia was cursed. When the dragon suddenly stopped moving, Naofumi immediately took Raphtalia into the carriage. There, Naofumi did everything possible to save Raphtalia, until finally, Raphtalia managed to come to her senses and Naofumi went back to the dragon's place to complete his task. And finally Naofumi met Philo, who suddenly came out of the dragon's belly. In the novel, it was explained that the dragon zombie attack had no effect on Philo, so when she was bitten, Philo didn't feel any pain, but she was nauseous and eventually vomited. Naofumi absorbs the dragon into his shield. He took the skin and dragon bones with him into the carriage, while the flesh, some of which Philo ate. In this scene, Raphtalia tells other people that she was cursed by a dragon. In the novel it is explained that Raphtalia lied to people. So the only people who know Raphtalia's curse comes from Naofumi's anger shield are Naofumi and Raphtalia. No one else knows. People know Raphtalia was cursed by the dragon. So Naofumi's Shield of Rage not only injures his opponent, but his partner is also cursed at the wound, so it couldn't heal easily, because the curse was so strong. Shield of Rage is really very dangerous, because it doesn't only hurt your opponent, but can also hurt your friends. That's why Naofumi kept apologizing as a form of regret for hurting Raphtalia. Here Naofumi realized that he didn't have to worry too much about Philo and Raphtalia, because they weren't children anymore. And Naofumi was more determined to protect Philo and Raphtalia without having to worry about losing them, and began to believe in Philo and Raphtalia's abilities. So the reason Naofumi panicked when fighting the dragon, was because he was too worried that Philo and Raphtalia would die, That's why he hesitated. From that hesitation, Naofumi, Raphtalia and Philo's collaboration ended up falling apart. That's why Naofumi is determined to make this battle a lesson to become even stronger. In this scene, the reason the Philolials run away, in the novel it is explained, is because they saw Philo's body. In the novel, there should be a scene where Naofumi is surprised to see a star symbol after the level. He was confused because there was no explanation, and Naofumi decided to look for an explanation later. The novel also explains that there are many people who want to buy Philo. They continue to approach Naofumi and want to buy Philo. Of course Naofumi didn't want to sell Philo, and in the end, Naofumi as a businessman took advantage of other opportunities. When someone asked about Philo, Naofumi was immediately able to chat with those people. He also directed his conversation to the accessories that Naofumi was selling, and in the end, the person who originally wanted to buy Philo, instead bought the accessories that Naofumi made. In this scene, when Naofumi and the others are camping, the novel explains that Philo's hobby is collecting shiny things. Philo showed Naofumi the pouch, which turned out to be filled with pieces of swords, failed gems, and so on. In essence, it was all trash. There was even a brown fur ball. It turned out to be thing that Philo spat out from her mouth. Of course Naofumi advised Philo not to collect dirt from her mouth. For some reason, Philo had a hobby of collecting these things, and thought they were all treasures she had. In this scene, Naofumi laughs at Motoyasu's crotch. So Motoyasu's crotch is armored, as we know, if Motoyasu's groin was kicked by Philo. That's why he was traumatized, and finally he made a protector for his crotch. When he saw that there was a armored on Motoyasu's crotch, of course Naofumi couldn't hold back his laughter. Oh yeah! In the novel, the citizens really don't like the duel between Motoyasu and Naofumi. But for some reason, in the anime, the citizens actually fought with each other. After Melty's arrival and Motoyasu was kicked in the groin for the second time by Philo, the citizens cheered with joy that Philo had managed to get rid of Motoyasu, who had started the commotion. It turned out that, even though Motoyasu's crotch was armored, the armored still shattered into pieces, and Motoyasu had to feel again how painful it is to kick his crotch. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. See you again in the next videos. Thank you.